Okay, so it's 5:46, and today's Thursday, the 27th, Thanksgiving. Remember yesterday? I swear to God, yesterday I said, time is really fucking with me, man. I'm getting so lost in the thing. I thought today was Wednesday. Even somebody sent me a Happy Thanksgiving little things and a prayer and all this stuff. And I was thinking, oh, they're doing this a day early. I don't know. I'm tripped out. I swear to God. I don't know. It kind of is like when you're in the here and now, when you're just living your life, even though I say it in the morning time. Yesterday, I must have said it's Wednesday. I have to go back and look. But it wasn't clicking that tomorrow's Thanksgiving because I thought today was Wednesday. I thought it was like, I'm so tripped out. Oh my God. That is so fucking weird. I blew my mind when I saw that. As I saw a video and it was showing the traffic already on the 405 in LA. You know how they show those videos of the helicopter showing how much traffic, and on both sides too. And I was thinking, man, so they're starting a day early, so everybody's going on Wednesday? No, it's freaking Thursday. It's like, God dang, man. That is weird. So now we're at the holiday. No wonder. And there's all this drama now going with the land. Like, I swear to God, I feel so certain that even though things happen the way they're supposed to happen, but there is always this presence from the other side that is bringing things to you, bringing information to you and stuff. And I feel so much like my dad is got his hands in this thing about this land situation. Like, he brought us in. He brought his kids into the situation to help my stepmom. Because when it first started going, and it's been so much. Yeah, I can't even tell you. It's been a huge drama ever since I very first said that this land thing. And every day is some drama on it. And so we thought we had this deal, and there's been so much inconsistencies in communication, and we all are kind of, I mean, we're out of state, so our hands are kind of tied. And but my instincts, my intuition, when I first started hearing it, I had certain instincts or intuition in regards to some interactions that were happening. And I said that I think that our stepmom, you know, should realize, like, we are here to protect her. Like, she would be getting fucked if we weren't stepping in. And I know, you know, to her, it just seemed like more shenanigans, you know, now more people involved in her thing, and she can't just do her thing, but she was getting, oh man, she was about to get pollywomped. So, now that deal has fallen through, but now it's not, no, because it seems very much like this is a whole criminal element, and it was brought in by somebody who's supposed to care about her. It's like, criminals can't help themselves. They're criminals. They just don't have the same empathy or compassion. Doesn't matter what your relationship is. They don't have it. And so now that deal is, we've put a stop to it. And so now we're going to see what the next thing is going to be. But definitely, this is protecting her, because and I had said, it seems like that there is just a certain situation where they're trying to take advantage of an old lady, and that's what's coming out. God, it's so funny too how instincts and intuition work, but there's a whole thing like where people don't pay any attention to it. And I had said in the because it's talking to my siblings, we keep talking in a group chat, and then also my brother calls me. And so I don't even remember where I said it, but I said this like when it very first started. I said, I bet you, and I said, she probably doesn't realize this is the best thing, is that we got brought into this, because it came so out of the blue, you know. And so anyways, I just feel like that we have, you know, people look at it as angels, guardian angels and stuff like that. But it's like people who are our family. It's like our ancestors. It's people trying to put stuff right. And so anyways, I feel so much like it was my dad. Even that one day I was thinking it, and I was out in the, these motherfuckers. I swear to God, dogs can be so fucking nasty. Just on my handkerchief is over there. I'll probably need it. Over there, because somebody, I guess, wanted to grab it up and chew on it or something. I swear to God. But there's a certain song that when we were kids, and he'd come into the kitchen dancing, singing this song. And so it always reminds me of him. I always feel like when this song comes on, I always feel like he's around. And I was still thinking about this situation a week or something ago, a week and a half ago. And that song came on. And so I was like, to me, that's like a confirmation thing. Which, yesterday, it's so weird because then some of you guys remember when I talked about the first guy I ever fell in love with. And then it was a year and a half ago or so that I had decided to look him up and found his obituary. And I was hit so hard with that. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, I was bawling for days. And he had come to me, and I was seeing things through his eyes. And which then I realized he was coming to me days before that I had even found out about it. That's why had been on my mind. So I looked him up because he was already becoming there, because it was more about what it was I was supposed to learn, what the things were in our perfect timing, and see even our people from the other side are still a part of our lessons. And so there was, like he came into my mind all of a sudden. And so I'd been thinking about him for a couple days. And so I was like, I'm going to look him up and see what's going on. Like, see if I can find any information about him. See if I find him on Facebook or something. Message him and say, hey, how are you? Or whatever, you know. And I did do that before to an old boyfriend that it was back on MySpace. And I had found him on there. And so I messaged him, and to me, I felt like I needed to tell him that he was so much more important to me than how I had let on. Like I valued that short time that we had together much more than I had ever let on, that I really looked at him. And he is also very prominent in his, the negative side. So he really put that out there a lot. He was a musician too. He really put that aside, and it was back in the Hollywood days when I was hanging in Hollywood, and he was put this certain side of himself out front, but there was always this other side of him that I could see that I would be around too, and I could see like that was like a persona kind of he had developed, rock and roll guy or whatever. But anyways, I felt like I wanted to tell him that. And, but that was, as far as it went. I think he may have even, blocked me or something. He might have been thinking like, oh, she's trying to steal me away from my lady or something. Because there was also another boyfriend I had called out of the blue one time. It was a long time ago. This is when, I got divorced the first time. Or not the first time, that was a really long time ago, from number 2. So it was my long-term relationship. And then I got divorced. And this was the guy who I was with in between number 1 and number 2. And I was very much obsessed with him. And I don't know, I just wanted to call and see what was up in his life. And you know, ask some questions about his family and stuff. And I don't know, just like make contact or whatever. And so we're just chatting and chatting and chatting. And then I was going to call him back again or something. And I don't remember. It wasn't like, maybe it was blocked. It was something. But no, I couldn't talk to him again. And I was thinking, oh, see, I think him or his wife thought like, oh, I'm coming in to try and get him back. And I wasn't trying to come. He had been married to the same girl ever since. Like a week after we broke up, he got together with this girl, and they're married and have kids and stuff. I wasn't trying to steal him back, but it's funny though when he talked to somebody. So I didn't know if I made contact, because that was the only times I've made contact with somebody, were those 2 times, and so I didn't know if me messaging him was going to be like, you know, I didn't know what his situation was, and if it was going to be strange or whatever. But so then I saw this as obituary, and I got, oh God, I was so tore up about it. And it was just like rushing into me so much. And then I could feel his presence so much. And then I started seeing things playing out from his perspective. And it was giving me such, it was really healing, that's for sure. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up is because yesterday I was in there doing some stuff, you know, doing some stuff. And I had looked at my email. I was clearing my emails, because usually when it's when I go on my email, it's just like click, 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 and erase them all, because it's just so much spam. I mean, but it clogs up your phone storage and shit, so you can't just like leave it. So I was doing that, and I saw his name pop up, and so I went in to look, and I was being notified because it was the anniversary of his death. And I was like, oh my gosh, he died right before Thanksgiving. And what a sad thing, he was only 55. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so sad. And he died in 08. Yeah, it was 08. Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. No, I don't know. Couldn't have been that long ago. I'd have to look again now and see. Surely it wasn't 08. He's been dead a while. But, and he was a little older than me. I think he was 6 or 8 years older than me or something. But anyways, I was young back then. But anyways, it hit me yesterday again. God, I was just crying. It just like, I felt so like, oh my gosh. I don't know, just the whole thing with, he was so young. You know, it was weird how it was just like this notification just came out of the blue, because it was like, and but anyways, it was just like, because you would think like, well, it wouldn't affect me after all of that healing I did from it the last time. But then it was weird how I just all of a sudden got notified of it. So I don't know if it was, because it's kind of trippy, is I'm still in the same year that I got kicked out of the house. So, so crazy how sometimes you have like so much happen in 1 year. And I've had so much be happening since 2016, I think it was. And so even though I lived in the same place for a while, at a certain point from 2019 to 2025, and that's so crazy, but it was the first week of 2025, that there was still a lot going on, because there was a lot of information that was being brought to me. I was seeing, like, there's a lot going on. I mean, at a certain point of that time, I thought I was going blind, and that had started before quarantine. And so, and that has been a part of my healing journey. And even when I was like questioning, like, you know, going blind and stuff like that, I could see like, well, that's, you know, if things happen, it's for your experience. You're here to experience the things that happen. And so, but my guidance had told me that I was to focus more on my inner vision. So my outer vision was being disrupted because I needed to focus on my inner vision. And so that's what I did. And it, I don't know, it was like a lot of stuff when I started doing this and everything. So anyways, it's just trippy because now it's like, it's funny too, because I posted something on TikTok and I was posting about my hair, which I'm curious to see, because one thing about iron is, the shower, you know, the white of the shower wall thing, that, it's stained. So it starts getting stained. The sink has got a stain. The toilet is, the water stains. And so now I'm kind of curious. So we'll see if this goes past the staining stage, because that's when we'll know that it really is, it's not just staining it, that it is actually changing it. So that's what I'm kind of watching. I was looking a lot at it today, and I kept being like, okay, but it definitely seems like there's dark hairs becoming inside mixed with it. And so we'll see. But that's kind of like what I'm watching on that too, is seeing if it's just doing some stain from the exterior, if it's actually changing my mineral consistency or whatever, my mineral, how much mineral I have in my system. So, man, I'm so uncomfortable. That's me, right? I've always got somebody right under my feet, right on me all the time. So, anyways, so I kept thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and cook all my stuff today, and because I started cooking some of it yesterday, but I was like, okay, I'm going to cook the rest. But I had leftovers to eat last night. So I was like, well, I'll just cook the rest and we'll eat tomorrow. We'll just eat the day before Thanksgiving. Anyways, who cares about that day? You know, it's not so much about the day to me. And I know a lot of people have to use the day because it's the part of our system to give you time off work for it. But anyways, I don't think, you know, and most people are just celebrating what it is that Thanksgiving was supposed to be. I think most people are just like, it's something that we just programmed into us. Get together with your family and have this big meal together and spend time together, which we'll see. I'm sure there's going to be dramas happening in some of these places, and it's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be some violence. I'm sure there's going to be some shootouts or something. There'll be some crazy shit that we'll hear about happening. I'm sure there'll be sirens going in places, and as people go in and get drunk and they start arguing and get pissed off, and people are fragile right now. They can't handle shit. And the energy is really coming in strong. It was so crazy last night, even when I laid down to go to sleep. And I dozed off, and then all of a sudden something woke me up, and then I was like, oh my God, it was like this most intense anxiety feeling again. And I know that's like got to be coming from the planet, the atmosphere, something in our reality shifting. And finally I got to sleep, but it was so weird, and I kept on. One thing is like trying to see like if it's coming from within or if it's coming outside of you. And it definitely felt like it was some energy that was coming from outside of me. But yesterday I watched this movie too. I thought this movie was so good. And it was called The Umbrella Man. And I had shared a clip from it because it showed this one part really well. But one thing I was going to say, though, because when I posted, I keep having all these people, oh, you just came up on my favorite For You page. I haven't seen you in so long. But, you know, I mean, all my videos, TikTok just holds them. They don't let my videos go through, just like fucking YouTube. So not like one's better than the other. But this one, people are more inclined to sit and listen to you and get the full message. On that one, it's they're like trained to just hurry, 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 hurry. And I'm guilty of it too. I don't just sit there and listen to whole things. I often just scroll past them and just listen to a second and then keep going. So But on here, people are more inclined to, get a cup of coffee, find something they want to watch, and they'll sit and watch it. That's what their intention is. TikTok doesn't have that same kind of thing. It's like, oh, hurry, there's another video, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. And you're looking for something that really clicks, which yesterday I was seeing, there's so many volcanoes. Oh my God, the volcanoes are just going all over the place. Where I was like, I don't even know if some of these, they're putting them as AI, because there's lots of people, this is AI, but it seems that there's Hawaii, like Indonesia, I don't remember all the places, honestly. Ethiopia, supposedly. I don't know. There was a bunch. They're just going all over the place. And I was seeing other people saying, there's so many volcanoes going. And then apparently the news in California said that they are more alert now to a megaquake, which a megaquake, they said, is going to be both fault lines are going to go at the same time. And that people need to be getting more prepared for that, because off of the coast of Russia, they're having a whole bunch of 7s and 8s, 7s and 8s, 7s and 8s. And there's been swarms of them over on our coastline. And they aren't as intense, but the tectonic plates are shifting around. And then something big happened in Japan, which also in Japan, the bears are attacking the people and eating them. But another thing about it is that they eat bear. So tables are turning. But something happened big on the Ring of Fire. And so that's what the West Coast needs to worry about, the Ring of Fire, because all of that movement is affecting the movement over here. But so if a megaquake goes, they said the Andreas and the Fuega or whatever, the other one, I think, is the one that goes up through the Cascades. And so that both of those go, oh my God. I mean, a megaquake. So it's going to be so bad. And there's another thing going on too over in California that, and I don't know if they're talking about it on their news or whatever, but that something is shifting, but it's like it's dropping, and they keep monitoring, and it's dropping a couple of feet. And so like the shoreline in different places are dropping. I don't know. I know the West Coast, whatever's going to happen is going to be real fucked. And I really, feel bad for everybody. And my brother and my sister-in-law are over there right now, and they're not even planning on coming. I've said it a bunch of times to them about the quake and stuff, and all of the things that are, shifting around, and to be wary. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know that it's going to take a long more time. Like, it seems like everything's building up for this big, bam. And so, fuck, I don't know. It's intense. This whole thing is definitely intense. But if the shoreline is kind of sinking, the tectonic plates are shifting around, and then it pulls, and the earth starts a quaking, and then it ripples in both ones, because, I mean, we'd have to be underneath and see how it's all shifting to be able to see. And I don't think I don't know what all they have access for, but you would think if they actually could see that and knew that, they would be doing mass evacuations. They'd be telling everybody, pack up shit, get the fuck out of here. And because it's going to become so chaotic. I mean, just looking at the 405 on Thanksgiving, it's like, that's Thanksgiving, and it's, 4:30 in the morning. So you talk about everybody coming out of their house trying to escape during, and then also, some people might remember, some people probably don't, but there was a big earthquake that happened a few years back. I don't know, it was probably maybe even a couple decades back at this point, but the freeways broke apart. I think it was like the 5 or something, and it fell down on top of the other one, and it was like break in half and stuff. So you know, there's not going to be like good escape routes, and so a lot of it will have to be on foot. And because, like, I mean, even if you're trying to escape and the thing's quaking and you're trying to sit on the freeway to get out and the freeway collapses, which is going to happen and will happen, that you're better off just taking off running and going before trying to just go and sit in traffic to escape. That's going to slow you down. I swear, if I was over there, I would be, and it started braking and shifting and stuff. I don't know. I mean, not even going to really need, I mean, trying to pack up all your stuff and drag it with you. That would be rough. And my brother's classic car is still over there. He wanted to move it last because he really babies this car. His car is like pristine, and it's a 65 Chevy, and he's put a ton of money into this thing, and so he was moving it last. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like our whole lives and things that are important to us can just be taken so instantaneously. And part of the process is, though, learning how to let go, because it was never really ours. It's not like we could take it out of here. And so I don't know, there's just, you know, this is going to be a lot, whatever it is, because yeah, if you have to just take off and start walking, unless, you know, the best thing to do too is to know the back roads, the back way out, because that's going to be your quickest, and see how far you can get. And then at some point, though, because this is supposed to, once this starts going, it's going to affect parts of New Mexico. Arizona is going to be gone. I think Nevada's mostly gone. Colorado's half gone. Utah, you'd think, would be all gone, because Utah is a dark energy place. But I don't remember on the map if Utah is totally gone or what the deal is with Utah. But Washington State's partially gone. Oregon's totally gone. So, anyways, we'll see. If Oregon may be mostly gone, it may be like, because I'm only 15 minutes from Oregon or something like that. I think I'm 15 minutes I can be in Oregon. And then when you get over there, is all these mountains. Like when I'm driving to come here, it's just like you're going all through these mountains. And so the water, I think, maybe would come up to where the mountains are. I don't know that it would come up over the mountains. I think it would come up to that range, but there's a whole bunch of mountains in California and in Oregon and stuff. But that may end up being kind of like little islands for at some point or for some time or something. Also, I think in one of the islands in Hawaii is having a volcano too. There's a lot going. But anyways, the biggest concern, of course, over here is the West Coast, and once the domino goes, what all occurs. Because there'll probably be earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes going, and then people trying to escape. And I think that there probably will be pockets of places where people are kind of stranded, and they probably will send in helicopters or something to try and help people get out. But it's going to be real chaotic, like in those movies or shows, those huge crowds of people. They start trying to organize it, like we'll take the women and kids first or something, and people start hitting each other and beating each other, and it just goes crazy. People panic. It's so crazy, too, how many people hate being alive, but they panic at the thought of death. It's like, because it's programmed into you. Death isn't real. It doesn't exist. There's a guy, supposedly, I don't know if this story is true, I just saw a guy talking about it. There's a man who supposedly is like 1,100, 900 years old or something. And he was found. And so what the story is behind him or something is, so he was some homeless guy walking around Chicago or something. And the cops got him. He was walking around mumbling or something. For some reason they arrested him, because that's not against the law. Because they don't give a shit. They don't have any place to put you. They don't give a shit. So I don't know why they would have arrested this guy. Maybe he was making somebody uncomfortable. I don't know. But he was, his clothes were all torn up and stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so dizzy. So they brought him in, and he was speaking Old English. And they were asking him questions, and he said he was born in 1140. And then he said he started telling him different things in history and stuff, and from the perspective of being there. And they said that there was things that he knew that they were like, well, how would he know that? And so then he said, so they were asking, well, how are you still around? He said somehow every time he dies, he just pops up somewhere else. So, which almost sounds like a glitch in the reincarnation cycle. Like, why aren't you going back to your review? Why do you just keep going to another one? But I think that also was, they showed that in a movie called, let me think, Highland. So it seems like Sean Connery was in it. It was a really old movie. I saw a long time ago. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, definitely this is going on. But there's these people who would go, just going from one life into a different life. And then the only way that you could get rid of them was to cut their heads off. But there's like these beings that had these certain abilities that sounded like, kind of like with him. And he started speaking all different languages. He was speaking a language that they haven't spoken. It's never been spoken to in our current society. It was like this old language. He spoke like Latin, French, and all these different languages. So they're sitting there talking to him, and he said that he, would die, and then he would just pop back up in a different one. And he wasn't popping back up as a baby. He was just popping back up as himself in these different lives, only they were all different experiences. And so he said that, which I don't know, because there's like, I don't know if this story is real or whatever. Because this other, oh yeah, let's say that a sec. Okay, so he said that, so they said, well, how did you get here? And he said, well, I was in the 1600s, and I died, because it's not linear, for one thing. And so he was in 1600s, and he drowned. And then he said he woke up choking in Michigan at this current time a few years back. And he said he was on the shores of the Great Lakes, and he was choking. And so he, died in one place and popped up in a different. And so while they were sitting there talking to him, he suddenly disappeared. He just disappeared. And so like I said, I don't know if that's true, because there is lots of made up stories going around. There's lots of AI stuff going around. There's a lot of bullshit going around. And I guess it's a test on our discernment. And the only thing is like, well, it's possible. I don't know. I mean, everything's possible. And, but, am I going to, ride or die it? It's just like, well, it's possible, and let it go. And, so but this thing here. So I saw this video this morning, and it was this girl and a woman, and she said, Donald's going to be gone in 5 to 8 months. He's out by a sickness. And so I was, listening to see, like, is this one of these psychics, or what is this? These people are always saying that this is going to happen. And so she said she's sick. So she has some sort of sickness. And she went to all these specialists. And this is where, I swear to God, I feel like people are up their own ass so far with their inflated ego that they just, you know. So then she said, so she's talking to this group of specialists. Well, I guess they got bored talking about her health and needed to talk about Donald's because they're all involved, and start showing her pictures. And so, and you know, saying all the sickness that he has or whatever. And so she decides to go home and look it all up and see. And so she's like, there's no way, you know, from what she was told and what she had seen, that he's going to make it more than 5 or 8 months or whatever. And from my perspective, I'm sitting here thinking, so you think that these, you know, these specialists that are these top tier specialists that, you know, who the president goes to, is they're going to risk everything for a HIPAA for you? Like, who are you? They're going to, you know, and anybody who has any awareness at all knows, like, Donald has got lawyers and fucking speed dial. Like, he'll fucking sue you. He's got so much slander and libel and all the fucking bullshit that's going on with these people. And so I was like, no fucking way are these fucking doctors going to go in and break all these fucking laws and start telling some fucking Joe Blow off the streets about his fucking stuff and pulling out pictures and shit. I was like, there's no fucking way. And I thought, okay, so if this situation occurred, it would definitely be like a test. It would be testing. Let's see how this travels. Let's leak this information out there and let's watch it. Let's follow its pattern. Let's follow where it goes, how it moves through society. It's a fucking test, dude. There's no fucking way. Like, but the people that are so sure. They're so sure that this is what it's like. Well, I would think that you should probably see, like, these 3-letter agencies are always testing and they're watching to see. You know, it is like a big social experiment, you know. This person says this, how many people believe it? How many people jump on board? How quick does it spread? How does it move? Who in following these certain individuals, the pattern of how it plays out. And that's what I would say. I think that's been going on with a lot of stuff. So that's why, you know, a lot of this stuff you just got to be like, okay, well, it is what it is. Just like the same thing with these volcanoes, where it's like there was so fucking many videos where it's like, fuck, I don't know. And always in the comments, there's always people like, oh, that's AI. There's always people like, oh, that's not happening. But you don't know if they're there or not. And so the whole thing is just, I don't know, it's like an observation to occur. Like, we need to just be like, you know, could be, could not be, like, but how much should it affect you, you know? But definitely this girl thinking like these doctors are letting her in on the big secret, as I would say, you know, this is a test. This is testing to watch and see what, you know, like I said, how fast things travel and how they travel, who moves them, who, you know, how it goes, and what the disruption that's created and the chaos too, is that they can monitor and see how many people on this side, how many people on that side, how many people are cheering, how many people are saying this, how many people are fretting, you know. It's all yeah, an amusement. It's all a fucking spectrum. It's all a fucking, it's just a big fucking stage, man. It's all a big fucking show. And it's being like monitored, kind of. So anyways, that's been let loose today, is yeah, this new information that I think is bogus. But anyways, but this show, so the show I was watching that I thought was really good, it was a movie called Umbrella Man. And it was this tragic situation happened for this couple, and their kid got killed. And it was showing like how they were both kind of dealing with it in different ways. And the guy got really tore up about it. And then what ended up, it was somebody had killed them, had killed his kid. And I kept thinking maybe he got ran over. But what it ended up being was that the dad had taken his son out to go on their first hunting trip. And so he had taken him, take him out to show him the ropes on hunting. And so he goes out. So they're sitting there together at this thing, and he's telling him stuff. And so then the dad has to pee, so he walks over to the tree and starts peeing. Well, the son starts taking off his orange vest, and then he starts saying, well, I'm gonna go get the Twinkies, and takes off running through the woods to go back to the car to get the Twinkies. And the dad starts screaming, no! And the dad starts chasing him, and then he hears, shots ringing out. And so the person who had shot the kid in this hunting accident thing. And so the dad, so then the kid had gotten charged with something, but then it got thrown out of court because they were saying, well, the son didn't have on the proper attire for safety. And the dad kept feeling like that these young teenage boys were out drunk and just were irresponsible. And so he was all tore up about this whole situation, and it was very haunting to him, especially because, he was there. His kid died in his arms. And so he was very shaken. Then he, so he's kind of like dismantling he's falling apart. And then I was trying to think, how was it he saw this for the first time? He was somewhere or something, but he had seen these people discussing. I don't know if he ended up in a meeting or something. I can't remember how it was, but he ends up being around these conspiracy theorists who are on the grassy knoll situation. And so they're going over it, dissecting it, and they've got a group. And it's supposed to be 1983, which was really trippy, or 1986 or something in this movie. And so the crime happened. They kept saying it happened 20 years ago, but they were this huge group. And there's books, and like some of them are authors and stuff, and so they're constantly going over all the information and trying to discover more and sharing it with each other. And this dad, he had never even heard of such a thing. He never knew that he just believed what they were told. He didn't, and once he started seeing the information and stuff, he got all totally involved in it. He became obsessed with it and became big into the group and just wanted to also try and discover, try and figure it out. And it was interesting because a lot of the movie is about the conspiracy and the stuff that was, like, well, how would this be? How would this be? And I'd never even, I haven't gone deep diving into the conspiracy behind JFK. I just knew it was bullshit. And, and at some point, then learning, it was our own people who took him out, and knowing that George Sr. was a part of the whole thing. And so was the Vice and stuff. So it was like a huge thing. And it was after, I think it had to do with, it seems like it had something to do with Nassara too. And there's a lot of conspiracy behind it, with all of the things involved in the speech that he had given. And he wanted the people to not be lied to. He wanted them to know the truth, and the liars needed to keep the lies in the dark, and he was not going to play. And so they had to remove him, and which that's how they do it in this world, is If you don't play along, they remove you. But right now they have so many people who aren't playing along that they've lost it. They can't keep up. And that's why they want to do this mass depopulation thing, because they want to get the back under control. But it's not going to happen that way. The universe is, it's the time where the energy flips the other direction. So their time is up. They should have used their time better. But their time's up. And that's why so much stuff is being exposed. But he was really stuck on the umbrella man. And this whole thing about, he's on the thing. As he passed, suddenly he puts his umbrella up. And it's a sunny day in November. Why is he putting his umbrella up? And that it was hiding the fact that he was the first, because there wasn't just one. And it definitely wasn't is it Oswald? Definitely wasn't that fella. And that was the scapegoat guy. That was, like how Charlie had to take the responsibility for all that mass situation that happened, when they were really, the 3-letter agency was at the ranch testing hallucinogenics and the mixing of all these different intense pharmaceutical kind of compilations. And so those people were all being tested on, and then they were being observed. And then when things went haywire, they had to have a scapegoat. So they scapegoated Charlie, the ex-con. So they always have to scapegoat someone somewhere. There's always somebody. So you're pushing my legs. Just, could you please turn the other way? I don't know what you're trying to do. So anyways, they, that whole thing. And so, she's got this burrs in her ear. So anyways, which I didn't ever hear about the umbrella man before. But like I said, I've not been deep into the conspiracy behind it all. I just knew it was bullshit. And then when I heard certain things that made sense to me, I was like, yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. All we know is it's fucking bullshit, the story they told us. So, just like all their stories they tell us, like fucking they're putting people on the moon and shit. They're fucking just lying on every fucking thing. And there's so many different people and videos and stuff. When they start talking about, like, God being real, and God told them this, and God told them that, and space, and they're out flying through space and all that stuff, I just can't even listen. I'm like, they're not quite awake. So, but they could have good information to share on some things, but there's so much of it is like, and I don't know. I mean, there's so many of these people, like God himself gave me a call. He told me, he's like, why do you think it's God? Why do you think that you're talking to God? Like, where are you coming up with this? And I mean, there isn't just this one God up there. And if there was, why is he calling you? It's like, I don't know. So, some of this stuff is so strange. You can see like the ego inflation in people, like, and yeah, wait, let me see. I feel dizzy on the inside. It's like because it's something about insecurities and love. Oh, I'm sitting there looking right at this thing that says love. Okay, so it was, okay, I think it was in relation to something I was thinking about. And thinking about, Dickie being, my first love, and being a kid and thinking love was real. Like when I was a kid, I thought love was real. And then we went out into the world and we found love, and then we went and made a happy family. And so I thought that love was a real thing that you could go out and get. And then I started, the experience starts showing you different. And what I've come to realize is you cannot go out into the world and find love. Is the only way to find love is to learn to love yourself. Hold on. This cough is wicked, man. So, but the going and searching for it is really the journey to self, because you cannot find the love that you're looking for in another person until you can find the love in yourself. And even when you find the love for yourself, it's like you learn to love yourself, then you promote such love, like you love yourself, so you go out into the world a different person than the person who doesn't love themselves. So you go out into the world as the new you, and then it's more of the vibration that you enter into loving yourself brings you into the vibration with other people who love themselves, and that it is a more purified expression of love when you aren't seeking to find love in somebody else. And it's both people love themselves, so they have a higher standard for themselves, and they know what they want, and so that comes into alignment with them. And so then they get to experience what it is to be in love. But you can't be in love until you are in love with yourself. It's just impossible. And that's why I think so much frustration in all these relationships, and why so many relationships are so toxic, is because the lack of love for themselves and the lack of like self-identity, which creates an empty hole in the relationship that becomes a bigger and bigger gap between the two people. Because one thing is that when you don't love yourself and you are an empty vacuum, you don't pull in people who love themselves. It's not like you're tapping into that because those people, when they go around you, they feel the emptiness in you, and they feel that you're trying to pull from them. And so it's a deterrent, so that they step out of that. It's like a red flag. And so people step away from those relationships that are drowning them when they are more in tune to themselves. So they don't see the purpose of staying in a relationship where somebody's sucking the life out of them, because that they can realize that. And so what the relationships end up being is two people who are empty and vacuous, and that they are trying to suck the life out of each other for their own needs. And so it becomes this big empty space in between the two people, that they each are frustrated and struggle in a tug of war, trying to pull each other back and forth. And really the hole just gets bigger and bigger. And it's so crazy, because it becomes, so basic, is, to stop being in those situations, is learning to give yourself what it is you're seeking from someone else. And that's why it's about learning to love yourself. You're learning to love, you want other people to love you, but you don't love yourself. And so it is, it's like a container. It just sucks everything. And there's nothing left to give. But the thing is when you stop trying to take it from somebody else, because they are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to find love in you. And that it becomes such a frustration, a gap, that it's a feuding zone. It's just a place of entanglement, kind of. And then, so when you step away from that energy, though, then it still is a journey. Because just to turn the light on and be like, oh, I love myself now, it is like, no, because you got to break through all the things that you don't like about yourself. You got to walk your way through it. And it's why you got to unpack the demons. You got to go through the dirty closet. You got to find why it is you don't like yourself. And that is where you start finding such an intense shame and guilt and resentment and anger and bitterness and patterns and all of those things. So as those things come into your awareness, that's why you have to heal them as they come in. That's why you have to keep, taking a step forward, And sometimes you get knocked down and you fall down and you have to start back over. And you got to keep going towards this journey of figuring out how to learn to love yourself, how to overcome all of these obstacles that hold you back from liking yourself. Which, another thing too, this is way off topic, but this just irritated me. And it's so funny too, because any of the stuff I get at the store that is pre-made at all, I always know, well, it's full of some bullshit. I mean, how much bullshit can it take, And so I decided I wasn't going to make a pie. I decided I was going to buy a pie. And I was going to get it from the bakery, get one of their pumpkin pies. And so I was still over by the freezer stuff. And at one of the displays, they had, like Reese's pie, Mounds pie, some other cookie pie. And so I was like, oh, a Mounds pie. Oh, I bet that would be good. I was like, I'm just going to get it. And so I got this Mounds pie. And I looked at it, and it's so crazy because you look at the box, you see all the writing, you see the picture, got to have the big, beautiful picture, and coconut and chocolate, yummy, delicious. And so I was like, oh, that would be so good. And so I get it, and I get it out the other day because I had it in the freezer. And so I got it out the other day to cut a piece of it. And then all I could see was artificial flavorings. That's all I could see. It's like, why didn't I see this in the motherfucking store? And so then I was just like, what in the hell? So I was reading some, and it was like, the coconut cream is artificial. So you're going to make a coconut pie. You're going to make a coconut cream pie, but you're not going to use any coconut cream? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, god dang. This is the whole thing with these, Campbell's and all this shit. Which, of course, what soup I have sitting in there for my green beans, fucking Campbell's. It's like, well, are they 3D printing the fucking mushrooms? What is this cream? Is it fucking jizz? What the fuck with this shit, man? And so, it's just like, how absurd. So you got coconut, and you got coconut cream, and then you're going to make up pretend coconut cream to put in your coconut cream pie? Like, what in the holy hell with this bullshit? I couldn't believe when it said artificial flavorings. It's like, what would you put in a coconut pie? What would you be putting? Wouldn't it just be simpler just to put the coconut in the coconut cream than just go into a lab and make up some fake shit? Like, what? It is absurd, man. So anyways, now I'm still eating some of the pie, but I don't know, all I can taste is artificial. Now I'm really wanting to make a coconut cream pie from scratch. I want to see, like, what is the big problem? Why you can't just motherfucking just use regular ingredients? Like, what in the world with these companies? It's like, wouldn't it be simpler? But I don't know. Is it, the lack of resources and the illusion, that we've got lots of coconuts or something? And if they really made it with that, we wouldn't have enough coconuts. There's not enough coconuts to make all the coconut cream. Just like how so many people are finding out, there's not enough cows to make this many hamburgers. There's not enough chickens to make this much chicken. Who knows? What the hell with the eggs even? Is that being 3D printed? I mean, all of this stuff is just like, it's so absurd. And then it's just like, you'll have days where it just hits you. Where it's like, what? What in the holy hell? So, I don't know. Apparently, there's not enough coconuts to make a coconut pie. When you say you're going to make a coconut pie, you just go make up some freaking something squirted out of something and stick it in a pie and call it, well, we tried to make it taste like coconut. Like, so anyways, now though I'm all into this, once I get paid again, then I'm gonna make a coconut cream pie. And so, but there is a lot of stuff that's supposed to be going down. So we've got all of these disasters, you know, just reaming or lurking over us. And then there's supposed to be this stuff with the money in the beginning of December. And Donald's just constantly got drama. This video this morning Amy sent me, I just was like, I don't know, the guy is just, he's so ludicrous, he's funny. He's just like, so he this battle with Chicago just goes on and goes on, and and I know it's so that the people can see, so they can keep trying to show, like, what your officials that you are trusting or putting in office, which most of the people who are put in office aren't even put there legitimately, but that to keep showing, like what he's doing to cause you guys issues. And so some of the people just don't pay attention. Anything Donald does is wrong. And then other people who do pay attention, and they're all just frustrated. And so so I don't know. I thought it was that fish looking lady was his issue, but now it's this guy, this man. So I don't know if one's the mayor and one's the governor. I don't even know what all is going on in Chicago. But so he starts, this guy's name is Fitzer or something, and he starts talking about him and calling him a big fat slob. He's a big fat slob. And then he said, I have a real good joke. The guys who write the speeches or whatever, the speech writer, there's everything's such a show that they had some jokes for him to do about this guy. He goes, but I'm not going to just go out here and, I'm not going to be mean and just tell somebody that they're fat and just make fun of how fat they are, even when they're a big fat slob. It's like, I don't say that stuff. I don't say someone's a big fat slob. It's like, you just said it. Now you said it on repeat. And so, anyways, I don't know. He's just, I don't know. He's such a character. And I think, it was a time when back in the first reign where he went to a baseball game or something and everybody was booing. And I was thinking, that's got to sting. That's got to sting. But I don't know, because, when you know that you're in the right and everybody who doesn't see it clearly is against you, then, I don't know. I don't know how much all of this stuff has affected him over that kind of stuff, because now he's got, people all, cheer him and love him and stuff like that. And people are starting to see more of the truth behind all of the lies and see, more of what he's doing. But there's still so many people who don't see it. But anyways, I don't know. Because it's like he doesn't need you to like him. He still likes himself. He's okay. He's okay if you don't like him. But anyways, I was thinking, I bet you though that there's been certain points though where it's gotta have stung at some points where it's like, fuck, man, people just hate me. So I don't know. But he doesn't have that somewhere. But he does have pockets of groups of people who do hate him, who think that he's doing all this stuff that they can't see, like their governors and stuff are the ones who are involved. And they all get so focused on this ICE thing. And then there's so many videos of our ICE doing all of these horrible things and stuff all the time, where it's like, I don't know. I don't think that this stuff is coming directly from him over when they're doing some of these horrible things. It is, I would say that there's a group out there trying to, give him a bad name And so they're doing like, say, I don't know. I don't know. Because there's more than just him involved in this whole thing. And I just see it as him trying to, clean up this place, trying to take down all of the opportunities that criminals had to access and to destroy us and stuff, and that he's very much trying to destroy those access points, those avenues into our lives, and that everything is going to flip. It's going to be under him, it's going to be so, I don't know. I mean, we could have big things going with the money, in the next few weeks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, because definitely this stuff is drug out and drug out and drug out slowly, slowly, slowly. And it's just like constantly beating these same messages over and over and over and over. It's like, but then you listen to the people and you still got all these people that just can't hear it, just don't see it. And so, I don't know, how it all is going to play out, because it very well could be, there was this horrible disaster occurs, and then it's like, okay, well, now we got to rebuild. We need to get people into new areas and start putting on all this money and give everybody this opportunity. And so, that's where I think there's going to be a lot of incentives and a lot of new communities being built up, and money going to us, but it's not just, money going into, there's going to be a focus kind of rebuilding, I think. And that could very well be why it's been so dragging it out for so long, is because the money needs to go into the rebuild. Because if they just, like a couple years ago, if they would have said, oh, look, we got a new Sarah Gazar, and we're going to just give everybody a couple $1 million, so many of these people would spend it, and we'd be out of gold at some point, and they would just be frivolous, supporting the corporation. And then what would we have to rebuild? Our communities and start over. So it could be that that's why it's a big show, to try and keep getting us to wake up as this is looming over us, these big disasters, but that the money needs to be there for us when it's time to rebuild. And so that it's kind of sitting there waiting for those situations. And then we don't know, we don't know how many people are, well, supposedly, I don't know, supposedly it's like 3/4 of the population is gone in a short amount of time. So I don't know, like the earth plane swallows them all up. But remember that, just like that old man, it's like you're choking to death in one place and you wake up 100 years later in a different place. It's your consciousness just goes into other realities. It just goes into other spaces and time. But I do think that there is this life review, and maybe the life review is for the souls that are more serious, like trying to really understand things and see things more clearly, and they want clarity and stuff, so that they go in. Because I don't know how he would be stuck or situated and stuck in a loop where he couldn't get out of it, and he just keeps being out, popping up here, popping up there. And so I don't know. I mean, I know that would be possible, and I think that there's beings that do that, and they could be, the same as trying to understand how they're stuck in the loop they're stuck in. Just as, there's lots of people here trying to understand is, well, then why is this reincarnation happen? Why do I have to go in? Why do these guides go and, put pressure on me to go back and fix my mistakes? And to me, it's like, I would not be thinking they're putting pressure on you. It would be much more of like, well, it's the only way. It's the only way you get yourself out of your karmic debt is go in and start trying to clean it up. That's how it works. We can't fix it for you. And it's your vibration. It's your vibration. It's your strings of attachment. They can't sever them for you. It's like it's you. You're the one in charge of you. And to me, that's what I would hear, is them putting it back on you. It's not like putting pressure on you and saying, you have to do this, you have to do that, but that's the way it works. You want to, move up in your vibration, then you have to let go of the things that are holding you back, holding you in the low vibration. So it's up to you to do it. And you can't just sit back and think, some God from out there is going to come in and fix it for you. No, you've got to get yourself into a point of understanding and realizing that you're the fixer. You're the savior. It's up to you. You're the one who has to fix your mistakes. You're the one who has to clean up your own messes. Everything has consequences. And that's what you've got to go out and, experience. You're experiencing all the different sides. You can't just go out and make a mess and then walk off and tell somebody else to clean it up for you. I don't know how it works in the big scheme of things. So, and it's by universal law. It's just like the laws of attraction. It's just the way the energy works. Whatever you put out of place, you have to put it back in. And nobody can do it for you. So, yeah, I wouldn't think like that they would be sitting there, well, you have to go do this. We need you to do this. They're like, no, you need to do this. If you want to move forward, it's you. You're the one in charge. You've got to do it. So, my throat's really hurting. Right when I looked up, it was 11117. That's a number that really sticks out to me. So it's always funny. There's always like these little confirmation things that are always showing up in your life. It just depends on how much value you give them, because the universe is always speaking to you, but a lot of people ignore it. And then it is hard, though, in your own head to decipher through all of the noise and to slow it down and to recognize all the different voices inside of your head and start communicating. And some of them, they don't really deserve a whole lot of communication other than tell them, get the fuck out of here. Shut up with that shit. Because there's a lot of, like I've said before, the darker entities, the lower vibrational, because we're in the lower vibrational. So it makes sense that they would be the loudest, and that the ones that are the quietest are the high vibration. The ones that are trying to help pull you out of your mess, they are the ones that are the quietest. And so the noise that you got to get through, all of the noise of this place in order to get to the quiet. And that's what, the whole thing behind meditation and stuff, of quieting the mind and working your way through to the back of the room so you can hear the quiet voices that are trying to assist you in your learning and achieving your goals. And your goals are overcoming a lot of the obstacles that are in your life and finding your way through the dark. And so, anyways, that's the way how I see how it works. So it's so trippy, nowadays, Thanksgiving. It's so weird. It's like this week is almost over. And so then this whole, now until Monday. And Monday is the 1st. And Tuesday is the 2nd, I think. Because I was looking. Yeah, because Wednesday's the 3rd. Okay, so yeah. So this weekend could be the last weekend of any kind of peace. Who knows? I mean, the earthquake could be going right now. It could be knocking people off the 405, like all people sitting there in traffic. So who knows? I mean, anything can happen at any moment. And it is so much more about you being tapped into, being prepared, knowing, like what's to come, and following your guidance in what you need to be prepared. And if your guides aren't trying to talk to you and prepare you for anything, it could be just because, you're leaving, you're coming home. You're going to go start a new reality somewhere else. You're not going to go, there's nothing you need to worry about. It's just like, and that's the thing is, there is nothing that you need to worry about. It's all set. It's all already, it's already written. whatever's going to be is going to be. And it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. And so, and we're at a time when one world is ending and a new one is beginning. And so this is the ending for the dark, and we've been, watching it, observing this end for them, and all of them coming into the surface and being revealed, and how really dark that there's so many of these people, and how really dark this world has been. And it gets so crazy is how much the darkness had all of the rulers. And we, trusted the law and stuff when it was never there for us. It was there to protect them. And it's always just been there to suffocate us. So there's just a lot to realize through this whole situation. But that's what, our whole point is the realizations and the growth that we accumulate from going through this. And it is the propelling us into our more advanced self. And then, and there is going to be other realities that are formulating out of this. And it is, it's our ticket to which one we're going, where it is we're going. And it's our assigned nature of what group we're going to be in, and the people that we're going to start interacting with, and who's going to be, where our influence lies, what is to come. So anyways, that's how I see it. I feel so fucking dizzy, especially moving my eyes. I know there's still a lot of, and I'm still taking the Benadryl. So, I don't know, I was thinking, okay, I mean, there's got to be something of this that has got some kind of allergic reaction situation with this sickness. So there has to be, to me, it's like this double, like a component or something, like there's a dual thing happening. But, and I was like, well, it could be because it is drying up the mucus, is that is, helping me to get better, because mucus is how the things travel around. But it's so weird is how I've been doing so much of the black seed oil, because I'd even started doubling up on it. I don't remember why. There was some reason, like a week ago or something, I said, well, it seems like that this is being helped, so I'm going to start doing double of the black seed oil. And so I had been doing that, and then God was bam with this, in huge amount of mucus, all freaking clogging me up and causing so much pressure. And so, so the oil couldn't even keep up with it. But then I don't know if the little pink pills are drying it up. And so that is helping me to get better. I don't know. I mean, however you get hit with whatever these sicknesses are, because they're definitely being put out there, is, just try all these different things and see what works. But yeah, I feel like I've gotten so much better from where I was. Oh my God, especially that one. I felt like I was dying. And, which is so crazy, because it was the same thing when I got so sick with that weird stomach thing a few months ago. And it felt like I was dying that time too. It was like, oh my God, I am so motherfucking sick. And now, but now it's been, getting better. If I would have kept being stuck in that same place where it's like, fuck, man. So I'm glad that it's like, even though it's still all stopped up and stuff like that, it's still so much better than what I was. Oh my God. Even though right now I'm feeling so fucking dizzy. But anyway, so I'm going to make the dogs, well, I'm going to eat it too. The stuffing and green beans and yams and mashed potatoes. And so that's what I'm going to do today, is cook more food. And all my dogs want to do is eat all the time anyway. So they've already gone through 2 big pots of turkey soup. So anyways, they just eat and eat and eat nonstop. So anyways, let me think if there was anything else I was going to say. I don't know. We'll just, we'll see, you know, as this goes. Oh yeah, as it was, some woman I saw just right before I started this, and she was saying that Thanksgiving, that there's some sort of big alignment happening. It's like a birthing or something. I can't remember what she said. So, just because it's the holidays doesn't mean something good. I mean, I don't know. There's all sorts of, the stars are aligning for change, and we know that. So things are in the process of changing, and change can occur at any moment, and there's going to be a lot of things changing. So this is very much about, you know, you just got to buckle up and take the ride, you know, go with the flow, let it go, and just enjoy the ride and learn what you can learn, and use it to your benefit. That's for sure, because you're here to grow. And so, but anyways, but you know, all the growth leads to learning how to love yourself, because yeah, everything in your life is learning that, you know. And people who can have these hugely inflated egos oftentimes don't love themselves. They just build themselves up, and they try and build themselves into some sort of concept of importance. But really, you know, it isn't that they love themselves. The ego's love is very different than the real truth of loving yourself. So anyways, but learn how to love yourself. Learn how to love everybody else, because I'm telling you, it's part of it. And learning how to have the day you want to have. I mean, that's everything. And so, so we'll see what this Thanksgiving Day brings us. It could be anything, an assortment of things. I'm sure there'll be a lot. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in micro, macro of things, but we'll see. And it's so crazy too, because not everybody even, like, I was thinking about this morning, like how many other countries are having a holiday today, but it's not Thanksgiving, but it's some sort of thing. Like, do they just in all the different places, like, align us on these certain days for these energetic things to occur and stuff? So I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going on everywhere else, and I mean, it's different years everywhere. Like, everything's just so weird. So anyways, but we will see what this day brings us, and then we'll talk about it again tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.